Shall we get our groove on? Yes! Good morning! Oh, that's not my face. What the hell is that? That didn't work. How about this? There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live, your show, my show, all of our show. Where is everybody? There's only like 10 people here. That's unusual. Hopefully people will figure it out. Now, I don't know what that new fan funding line is. Like I said, I think it is just people who do super chats during the show, and maybe it was a way for everyone to keep track of them. Like, a lot of people want to read all their super chats, but then they have to go open a whole new page to find out what they were, and that probably just keeps them all in one list so people can, I guess so the creators can check them off, or people can check out what people said if they didn't see them already. So anyway, that has nothing to do with this show, though, because I much prefer you to go through Streamlabs, aka the PDawgKnight.live. But anyway, so today, there's one breaking news item that's interesting, and then, of course, the big Tucker Carlson debut of his first monologue on Twitter last night, which got some interesting reviews by the usual subjects, and but boy, oh boy, did it was it successful. So we're gonna look at both those things, maybe a couple other things, and the article of the day from This is CNN. So we're gonna do that and more after the intro. Johnny, would you do me a favor and play the intro now?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Yes! Shall we play the game? Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel on this Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? What's today? Is it Wednesday? I'm not even sure. Is it hump day? Yes, it is. It's Wednesday. Hump day! And so there's a whole lot of stuff going on this morning that happened to... There's some breaking news over at This is CNN. So, but before we do that, I need to sell you something. Wait, no, that's Mr. Reagan's line. I'm not selling you anything because I don't have any sponsors. You're the only sponsors I got. And so there you go. But like I said, there is... Ooh, boy. I wonder what the hell's going on over there. What the hell's going on over there at CNN? So, but before, I'm teasing you. Some of you probably already know. Let's say hi. First in chat over on Rumble. Avocados Diabli gets the bell. Wow, was that really soft? No, that's just my headphones are down. Okay. And good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. And wait, and that's it. So, Sully showed up. How you doing, Sully 209? That's nice to have you there. On YouTube, looks like Looks like Simon Wolfwood gets the bell. Oh, wait, no, it's Avocado Diablo gets the bell. I just didn't scroll up far enough. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Special Can Acid, Don Julio, Gulf Bike City and Biker, and City Trash Man. Gulf City. Okay. No, let's try this again. Don Julio, Gulf City Biker, and Trash Man. Good morning to you. Tyler F. Hello. Nomads in the house.
Stop. Hammer time.
Wait. Now where? How did I scroll? I must have scrolled down pretty far. Hello, Trippy Liberty. What's up? Simon Wolfwood's in the house. My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies here. And Attack Alpaca. And that's it. That's pretty much everybody. That's weird. We're kind of light today. We're kind of light. Maybe they'll slowly but surely. That says it 8 people. That doesn't make sense. They usually have 20 or 30 by now. Well, hopefully the notifications are going out. I know how it works, and I don't even know how the Rumble notifications work. They kind of go out, and I did actually tweet out the show. I did the locals tweet. I did the locals post. I mean, I did the whole damn shebang. So people should be figuring it out soon. I do appreciate those of you who, well, no one's done that. Okay. Oh, good Lord. I'm having an argument with someone who's talking about Bert and Ernie being gay. Hello, Jay Pylon's in the house. And Gulf City. Blink 182. I'm going to just drop this DZC. It's wordy for me. And I said Special Can Acid. Okay, no one even considered it. So, I got in this argument about Sesame Street. Because Ed Krasenstein, I know he annoys you, but he made this little thread about, and this is a tangent. This is an aside. This is something that I will eventually digress from. But he did this post. Okay, today there are culturoids or surrounding books that mention any LGBTQ themes. Nearly half the country becomes outraged if a child sees a drag queen. Okay, I'm going to debunk these probably one at a time. No, not culture war surrounding books that mention any LGBTQ themes. No, that's not true. The books that we're talking about are the ones that have illustrated porn in them and discussions that would, make the editors at Penthouse Forum blush, okay, that are in children's schools that are age inappropriate by far. Okay, that's what people get upset about. And then outraged that a child sees a drag queen. No. Nobody cares if some child happens to see RuPaul dressed up as, whatever RuPaul dresses up as. But taking them to drag shows, which are highly and traditionally very sexually suggestive, inappropriate for chillins. Okay? Get it through your head, Ed. Parents call for book bans if a book talks about someone having 2 dads. Again, that is also false. Maybe there are a few parents that, don't want to have their kids reading that stuff, whatever. But that's not the problem. You're lying. You're obfuscating the actual truth. Okay, let's move on. Reality is, though, that this is nothing new. What's new to me is only the massive amount of outrage. Okay, and then he goes into this. Sesame Street in 2021 introduced 2 gay dads, Dave and Frank, along with their daughter Mia, on the show. Okay, that is new. That 2021. And guess what? People are like, is that necessary? Outraged? I'm sure certain factors were outraged then. It's not like this is the first time you've heard any outrage about that. It's an odd point that a lot of people were like, why are you doing this on Sesame Street? Why are you trying to confuse kids on Sesame Street? Okay. Then he says, this is the one that I got in a conversation about. Bert and Ernie are a gay couple, according to the show's former writer, although the producers deny it. That is Bullshit. That's not even true. Bert and Ernie were created in 1969 by Frank Oz. And who's the other guy, the Sesame Street guy? Now I'm blanking on his name, but I'll figure it out in a second. What's his name? Frank Oz and Jim Henson. Okay, the Muppet guys, right? Jim Henson and Frank Oz. Bert and Ernie were best friends who lived together, who were based on Frank Oz and Jim Henson. Who were best friends who were roommates. Okay? That is the person, those are the people who created Bert and Ernie. They were not a gay couple ever. Until roughly around 2018. Because look, people joked about it when they got into adulthood. Oh yeah, they must be gay or something. But nobody seriously said that this was a gay couple. All right. And in 2000, but around, I think in the late 2010s, there were some activists who were mad about some Supreme Court decision. And so someone was pressuring the people at Sesame Street to say that, oh, well, Bert and Ernie are gay, aren't they? No, they weren't. But then a writer at Sesame Street decided to capitulate and said, well, oh yeah, we wrote them as gay. It's just bullshit. Look, in fact, I'm aging myself. I saw the very first Sesame Street. Now, I was only 5 years old, maybe 4 or 5 years old. It was 1969, 5 years old. Oh, I saw the very first Sesame Street when it was on the public broadcasting network. And first of all, children have no idea what gay is. Okay? Nobody writes for children about sexual things for preschoolers up to maybe kids will still watch it in up to maybe first, second grade, because it's but then they get made fun of if other kids find out they're still watching Sesame Street, because it is kind of entertaining, even though it's definitely designed for preschoolers, right? Nobody writes something that there's no scenes of Ert and Bernie getting up, in the back of the bedroom. It's ridiculous. And then he goes on. Nickelodeon had a gay character in 2002, and look, there were gay characters in the 70s. It's not like there were never gay characters, but the idea that this means that we should now inundate young children with images of gay sex in books, or maybe drag queens and strippers, because basically drag queens emulate strippers in a lot of places. Sometimes they're just impersonators. There's but so I got this. I've been getting this argument with somebody who wants to say, okay, so I said, what was it? I replied to this. Where did I reply to this? Here it is. Nobody even considered them being gay until the mid to late 2010s. Even then, it was activists trying to push a narrative to which one of the writers capitulated. Created in 1969, they are originally best friends, as written by puppeteers Frank Oz and Jim Henson, who themselves played the characters based on their own friendship. And why would you think they were gay when you were a kid? Sesame Street is written for toddlers through preschool and maybe kids as old as first grade. Are you claiming that you were aware of people's sexuality when you were 5 years old? I doubt it. Sounds like you've created a memory to fit your story. Because someone said I remember them I knew they were gay back in the 1980s. When I was a child in the 1980s, I knew they were gay. No, you didn't, because they didn't write them to be gay in the 80s. And they still don't necessarily write them to be gay because kids don't get it. And certainly nothing in Sesame Street scripts would have indicated that in the 80s. To where this guy said, well, I'm pretty sure when I was in high school back in the 90s, there were jokes about Bert and Ernie being gay. Yeah, there were jokes about it. You were allowed to make those jokes then. It doesn't mean that the show itself represented them, and that is a theme or any hint of it to its audience. But you said no one ever considered them gay until the 2010s. And I'm telling you, there were jokes, and people wanted them off the air. Bullshit. Jokes doesn't mean people actually thought they were gay. They were jokes, not really. Nobody, I'll just change that. Nobody actually thought they were gay. I should say nobody in the audience thought they were gay because their audience doesn't if I could type worth shit, know what gay means. And correct that. It's fucking spelling bullshit. Yes, audience. There we go. Nobody thought they were gay. They were jokes. Jesus Christ. And no, there was no outrage in the 90s. I was a parent in the 90s with kids who watched Sesame Street. Jesus Christ. What a dopey motherfucker. Anyway, so enough about Sesame Street. That's not what I came here to talk about. Please edit that before you hit reply. I did edit it. I got it. Missing the Y. I don't care. Anyway, what the fuck did I walk into? Hi, Ty Alexander. Hello, Maddie. How you doing? Ty Alexander. Hello, those ain't real, dude. Hello, Somnambule Nation. I know a bunch of people dropped in. Hello, Tex AG 007. And anyone else who showed up. So anyway, for fuck's sake, these people. It's a silly little thing going on here. Anyway, thank you, Somnambule Nation, and for retweeting the show. I appreciate that. And also putting out your own post. Please share this stream. Please hit the like button. Please donate a couple dollars today for the coffee fund and the fact that I'm going to be a cripple for a couple months. Okay, let's move on. The breaking news this morning, I was looking at trends this morning, and this came up. I don't know if you know who Chris Licht is. Licht. Hello, by the way, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite. Right. And also, Anna Lynn, hello. Nice to see you. Unacceptable Views, what's up? Chris Licht. I don't know how you say it. Is that a German name? Is it a Lithuanian name? Is it a Swahili name? I don't know. But Chris Licht is out. He's O-U-T at This is CNN. He's out of there. You're out of there. And here's a report from, looks like someone at CNN is reporting on Chris Licht being out at CNN. Here's the report.
We have news now to report involving our own network. News to us here at CNN and you at home. CNN's chairman and CEO, Chris Licht, is leaving the network. Licht took over the network a little over a year ago. David Zaslav, the chairman of CNN's parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, he just made the announcement at the network editorial meeting. For now, a leadership team will take Licht's place, led by Amy Entelis, who's the executive vice president of talent and content development, along with Virginia Mosley, the EVP of editorial, Eric Sherling, our programming EVP, and David Levy, our new chief operating officer. Sarah?
Thank you, Kate. On our radar this morning.
Hey, goodbye. Anyway, Chris Licht, actually, he just took over recently. Now look, he's been under fire on many angles, okay? First of all, he came in as CNN has been dying for a few years now. Ever since, well, look, let's be honest. CNN has fallen apart with the with the election of Joseph Rahim Biden. And why is that? Well, because CNN spent 4 years literally living off of Trump derangement syndrome. They made it their excuse me, I'm sorry. They made it their absolute bread and butter to be the Donald Trump channel, okay? And in a bad way, because they spent their whole time bashing Donald Trump. Donald Trump was everything he was the best thing that ever happened to CNN. Because CNN was struggling just before Donald Trump started to run for president. And then somehow, all Trump all the time worked for CNN. And even though it was negative to Trump, it was constant coverage of him, okay? Which I think kind of led to Trump's success. Good morning, Rachel Maddows Dildo, by the way. I just caught you up there. And so they brought in Chris Licht about a year ago, right? Brought in Chris Licht, hoping he would change things around. And he started firing people. He started getting rid of some of the crap that was on CNN. Brian Stelter was one of them. And there's, just a bunch of people, okay? Just Chris Cuomo, he said, dude, and granted, Chris Cuomo self-imploded, but he started getting rid of people, changing shows around, whatever, and it hasn't helped, right? It hasn't helped. And a lot of people on the left were saying that, well, Chris Licht is just trying to make CNN Fox Light. They're trying to make Fox Light. And they're just trying to be more conservative. And they're pander to the right. And blah, 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 blah. Because, during Trump years, you couldn't put anyone who had any inkling of being a person who liked Donald Trump. You couldn't even say one thing nice about him, even if everything else was bad, right? So he started making some changes and lineup changes, and some of the people imploded and got rid of moved Don Lemon to the daytime because everyone hated Don Lemon and no one was watching his show. And the ratings sucked at CNN because Donald Trump was gone. And so now, recently, when he had Donald Trump on a town hall, which was actually the highest rated show hour on CNN in a very, very long time, people were, a lot of the people were outraged that you had put out a presidential candidate that tried an insurrection and well, apparently he's out. Now there's a couple reports here. Let's see, what's this one? Okay, that's the same. Okay, I have that video as a separate link if you want to see that. But here's it's trending right now. Pretty big, like number 2. It was number 2 when I opened this up, but it's probably number 1 now because this just happened a few hours ago, right? Here's one on CNN Business. Well, let's just try it here. Let's see what this says. See, Chris Licht, the embattled chief executive and chairman of CNN, whose brief 1-year tenure at the network was stained. This is CNN writing about CNN. Whose brief 1-year network or tenure at the network was stained by a series of severe missteps. Oh my God! And they linked to the Trump town hall. They linked to the Trump town hall as one of these series of missteps. Interesting. I met with Chris, and he will be leaving CNN. David Zasloff, the chief executive of parent company Warner Brothers Discovery, told CNN employees at the start of the network's daily editorial call Wednesday. That was this morning. Licht's departure, which came days after a devastating 15,000-word profile in The Atlantic capped a tumultuous year for CNN, marked by layoffs, historically low ratings, and rock-bottom employee morale. Hey, let me just get something straight here. CNN was a dying network long before Chris Licht got there. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, by the way.
That's right.
Black Hebrew Israelite says, the liberal New World Order is falling apart. Maybe you should not... maybe you should stop fucking with people's kids.
That's right.
Burn in hell, commies. Okay, that I'm not sure where all came from, but yes. Yes. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for making... Oh, well, yes, the audience likes that one too. Thank you, Black Hebrew Light, for sponsoring the show. I need sponsors, so that is greatly appreciated. Uncle Bobby's in the house. What's up? How you doing, my brother? Okay. Lick's departure. Now, okay, again, after a devastating 15,000 word profile in the Atlantic. Oh, the Atlantic that is basically the anti-Trump everything and hates anything that hints a little bit of conservatism. Now, in the wake of the Atlantic article, Licht apologized to staffers Monday. I did not know this. We'll open that one too. Monday, telling the global news organization in a somber tone that he did not recognize himself when regarding portions of the story and that he was sorry for having distracted the newsroom's work. Again, CNN's been dying for years, and it was dying before Donald Trump became president. And the idea that this is all Chris Licht's fault, that they suck, is not true. Sorry, I'll put this article centered more. Licht, who describes the experience as tremendously humbling, vowed to fight like hell to win over the trust of employees. But it became increasingly clear that Licht's tenure as the chief executive was quickly coming to an end. Licht has not commented on his departure, and he did not immediately respond to requests for comment. You could tell this is written by an employee that didn't like Chris Licht, too. Zaslav said that Licht's job was never going to be easy and praised never going to be easy, right? Because this is CNN, and praised the amazing career he has had, wishing him well on his first future endeavors. For a number of reasons, things didn't work out, and that's unfortunate. Zaslav said it's really unfortunate, and ultimately that's on me, and I take full responsibility for that. Well, interesting. Did they decide the emoji might offend people, for fuck's sake? I don't know. What emoji was missing? Really, YouTube? One of your own emojis gets held for review? Are you serious? Oh, good Lord. Anyway, was it the zucchini one? Was that the one that held? I don't know. Anyway, so the company's in the process of doing a wide search. In the interim, they got the leadership team, blah, blah, blah. And then they keep going. A tumultuous tenure. The tumultuous tenure is that he had to fire some people who sucked. I'm sorry, they just did. And the whole lineup sucked, and everyone hated CNN. And all the people who watched CNN was for people who would bash Trump, and Trump was gone. So, Trump is their saving grace. They should have just went back to that as soon as Trump said he was running for president. And they kind of did. The town hall was a rating success, even if people were mad about it. Trump made them look stupid. That's why. I mean, I respect, what's her name? Caitlin Collins. I respect her. She was great when she was with The Hill, and she and that one guy did the back and forth show, one liberal and one right media people, and they kind of kept things in the middle. But she made a fool of herself with some of the questions. Donald Trump was ready for some of the bullshit she was throwing at him, and it just looked bad for CNN. And a lot of people watched it. And that's why they got so much criticism for the town hall. Plus, he's an insurrectionist, he's a treasonous, he's this and that. People watched it. That's what you're supposed to have at a TV station. You're supposed to have eyes. Thomas Cleaver, kapow! Where are you? I saw someone say hi to you, but I don't know where you are. Are you here, Thomas Cleaver? Did I miss you? Gosh, I hate when I do that because I don't want to make you feel like you're not special. So anyway, all right. Hello, Rotten Corpse. What's up? So, let's see. Now let's see what they write for his tumultuous tenure. Licht's brief and rocky tenure as the head of the network came after he found tremendous success in morning news, producing MSNBC's Morning Joe before he revamped CBS Sunday Morning. Prior to joining This Is CNN, Licht was the executive producer of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So these are all people that they love. What are you talking about? But at CNN, remember, this is writers from CNN, so they didn't like him at CNN, even though Morning Joe, I bet they all love Morning Joe. I bet all the people at CNN watch Morning Joe instead of their own morning show. I bet you they do. And he had some successes, but anyway, and that's why he put Don Lemon at the CNN morning, whatever thing it was, until he realized that Don Lemon just sucked anyway. And I don't mean in the good way that he may already do. Anyway, but at CNN, Licht stumbled and quickly faced criticism, replacing Jeff Zucker, who everybody at CNN loved, even though he was grinding it into the dirt, replacing Jeff Zucker, the former CNN leader who was beloved by staff. Licht's first action at the network was to dismantle CNN Plus, which sucked and didn't get, they couldn't even sell it. Holy shit. Yes, CNN Plus, he dismantled it because they were losing millions of dollars on it. That's his job. Anyway, oh, wait a minute. Which had been hailed by previous network leadership as the streaming future of CNN. Yeah, everyone's just dying to watch. They're dying to pay to watch CNN. Even Fox, with their Fox Nation, whatever network or whatever, Tucker Carlson said, God, it's just a pain in the ass and not enough people watch it. But anyway, he said that CNN Plus was the future. The future. Where is it? Where the hell was I? Dismantle CNN Plus, which had been hailed as by previous network leadership as the streaming future of CNN. Zucker was ousted in February 2022 for failing to disclose a relationship with a subordinate. Yes, he was fucking one of his subordinates. Now, unlike Zucker, who held an office on a newsroom floor in CNN's Hudson Yards office in New York, Licht separated himself from the network's journalist, a move that isolated the chief from his staff. Yeah, he wasn't playing puppet master with all the journalists at CNN like Jeff Zucker was. Duh. Licht announced mass layoffs at CNN in December because they were losing millions. But the town hall with former President Donald Trump last month that Licht orchestrated was widely criticized as a mistake. Now we get to the real news. Licht faced a flurry of internal and external criticism for the town hall. So, and look, he's a pussy for leaving if that's why he's leaving. Including from iconic anchor Christiane Amanpour. Oh, go to hell! During a Columbia Journalism School commencement speech. Look, Christiane Amanpour she's got to be what do you call it? A suit, FBI, a plant, or whatever. She's who cares? Where is CNN sucks when you need him? The most redundant name on the internet. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what's going on at CNN. CNN sucks. It's gonna continue to suck. And I don't know what they can do to turn it around. The format is going away. You've got things happening in other places, YouTube, Twitter, places where people are getting the news. Young people don't watch cable news at all. And even MSNBC. I mean, yeah, do young people watch it? No. The average cable news viewer has to be my age or older. And I'm old, as Tyre Alexander will gladly tell you on any given day, all right? So anyway, this is wild. And then they did the harsh criticism after Trump unleashed a fire hose of lies during his live town hall. Look, it doesn't matter. He's a presidential candidate, and it is what it is. So anyway, that's the big thing trending on Twitter right now. Let's check notifications real quick, see what else has popped up here. Oh, it's here we go. Oh my God. Okay, lots of articles about Ernie Burt Gay. All right, got it. Okay, gotcha. Okay, they found some articles from 1994. Are Ernie and Burt gay? Okay, well, the answer was no. Okay, I'm telling you the answer was no to their audience, okay? I don't recall children reading the New York Times and whatever else article they posted. So anyway, let's move on to the main topic of the show. I don't know the CNN Inside Baseball, so I can't comment on Licht one way or the other, but I stand by this. He was right to have Trump Town Hall. Trump is the likely nominee of... Oh my God, that's Joe Walsh saying that. That's interesting. Oh, and there's something new from Elon Musk. Okay, let's move on to the headline topic today, and that is not Chris Licht, but another former cable news personality. And his name's TUCAH Carlson. TUCAH Carlson is back, and Tucker on Twitter is trending like in the top 3. Let me see where it is now. Let's refresh this here. Here, by the way, if you want to know what's trending on Twitter right now, let's just do that. Messi, the soccer player, is trending. I don't care. Chris Licht, Canada. Oh, Canada. And Tucker on Twitter is trending number 4. Now, Tucker Carlson was trending all day yesterday and is still trending because he has dropped his new, I wouldn't call it the show. He dropped a monologue from what is going to be his new Tucker on Twitter persona last night on Twitter. And so Tucker on Twitter is trending right now, right here. And here's here's the first meme of the day. Tucker on Twitter is greater than Fox News. Tucker, because here's the thing. Right now, I believe the view count. Now, when they say view count on this, we'll talk about this in a minute. But right now, the view count is the view count is at 69 million. Oh, yeah. Yes, right now, as of this morning, the view count as of from 6 o'clock today, 69 million views. Holy shitballs. Now, there's a caveat to that. It doesn't mean that everyone's watched the little 10-minute clip. Not 69 million people watch it, but we'll talk about it in a minute because there was a funny little story that happened last night. But anyway, a lot of people are talking about Tucker on Twitter. After being fired by Fox News in late April, Tucker Carlson is back with his new audacious Tucker on Twitter show, more piercing, more sarcastic, and more pungent than ever. In his first release, he accuses Kiev of sabotaging the TUCAH and refers to Zelensky as a comedian. Zelensky is a comedian. Zelensky is a comedian. That was his career before he went into politics. He's a fucking comedian. What? Who didn't know that? Hello, Midnight in Exile, by the way. Okay, here it is. He accuses Kiev of sabotaging the PP, which is that, I think that's the, is that the dam that got destroyed and it's flooding a big portion of the whatever that region is. And it refers to Zelensky as comedian. Yes, he's a comedian. That was his job. Yes, just like Trump is a reality TV host. The U.S. media, Carlson says, unsurprisingly accused Putin of damaging Russia's infrastructure because he is exactly the sort of man who'd shoot himself to death in order to annoy you. He also compares today's American information space with that of the USSR in the 1970s. Same secrecy, same lies. He promises that his show will offer a reliable information source for the American people. The first release view score has already exceeded 7 million. Now, that was at like an hour after it started. It's like I said, as of this morning, 60. Wait a minute. As of this morning, 69 million. Oh, yeah. 69 million. That's a lot. That's a lot of eyes. Real quick. Thank you, Ty Alexander. Dropping another small bullet in the tip jar who says, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, Black Hebrew Israelite.
You are
the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. And Tyler Alexander, you now share that title with Black Hebrew Israelite. Tyler Alexander says, you are correct, sir. I bet you finalized the proof of God's first draft of the design schematics for dinosaurs. How'd you know? In all seriousness, love you, man. Stay you and never change. Hi, Lady Boomer. We need more left shoulder. Yeah, we got to get back to doing that streaming on Saturdays. We haven't literally we're driving every Saturday somewhere. By the way, on my other channel, Marty's Big Journey. Thank you again, Tyler Alexander. Appreciate you. On my other channel, Marty's Big Journey, I have a 16-second recap of our Memorial Day weekend. It's only 16 seconds long. I'd play it here, but it has copyrighted music, and I don't want to do that to this channel. But anyway, so go check it out over at Marty's Big Journey. All right, back to Tucker Carlson. He did a show yesterday, and it was interesting. I mean, he breached some topics that, a lot of the people with the little blue and yellow flags in their bios don't want to hear. And he's, basically said that there's an interesting, rest in peace, Prince. Prince has been dead for what, 4 years? I don't know. It's 71 million. Yeah, it's just going up and up and up. So anyway, so he said a lot of things that some people probably pissed some people off, especially all those people supporting Ukraine. Some dam got damaged, and he doesn't think the Russians did it. Just like they realize now that it's official that the people who sabotaged the pipeline, the Russian pipeline, it's official. The Ukrainians did it. They know for a fact that they did it now. After all the speculation that, the United States did it, or of course, if Ukraine did it, it's in de facto the United States did it. But, saying, the Russians sabotaged their own, pipeline that makes billions of dollars for them in Europe. Yes, they sabotaged themselves to make the Ukrainians look bad. Yeah, it didn't happen. And so now they're saying, this basically in the Crimea region, this dam that they built, which is technically right now, it's Ukrainian land, right? But the Russians took it over. And so why would the Russians sabotage a land that they're controlling right now? To make who look bad? Huh? Why would they do that? So anyway, a lot of people are pissed off. Tucker, here's Rod Filipkowski, who's a very left-wing Democrat type show. Tucker released his very first episode of his new show on Tucker on Twitter tonight. Naturally opens up making the case that Ukraine blew up their own dam. Well, it's not their own dam temporarily, right? The Russians control that area. So why would they blow up their Russians? From the Russian standpoint, it's the Russians' dam. And Ukraine's been doing some shady things over there. And everyone, they try to make it like the Russians are getting their asses kicked in Ukraine. No, it's kind of a, back and forth, but there's a propaganda war on this too. And I don't believe any of them anymore. You all can talk about Ukraine all you want until I see someone in the end has won something or there's some negotiation in the end. I don't believe anything you fuckers say. Nothing. Because you just show us the best things that happen from your side. So I don't believe any of them. But a lot of people are sad about that. Now let's look at CNN, because this is CNN reported on it. And then I'm going to show you something funny. So here's the CNN report. Now this says Tucker Carlson is back, sort of. Now remember, we're talking about CNN here. A dying network is writing about Tucker Carlson being back, sort of. Just let's keep that in mind. Here it is. Tucker Carlson launches first episode of low-budget Twitter show. Now that's a shot. Of course, it's Oliver Darcy. Now, if you know who Oliver Darcy is, Oliver Darcy is Brian Stelter's partner in crime, and maybe other ways. But and so he's very critical of anything Fox. He's kind of like Brian Stelter. He was one of these, if Oliver Darcy had a former life like Brian Stelter, he'd just be a blogger who rags on Fox all the time. That's what Oliver Darcy does. So this is the headline itself is a shot. Tucker Carlson launches first episode of low-budget Twitter show. Okay, that's a shot. After a Fox News firing. Now, the one thing I would criticize Tucker Carlson, his sound is terrible. He's supposed to be a guy in this business, and he has terrible sound. Good morning, Reacciona Puerto Rico. It's very sick that you would risk a nuclear meltdown to get a few more billion. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. So anyway, here it is. Nearly a month after vowing a return to right-wing commentary through a show on Elon Musk's Twitter, the fired Fox News host. So see how he's already being derogatory in his own way. To everything he says right here are bad things to him. Right-wing, okay? Elon Musk's Twitter. He doesn't like Elon Musk. The fired Fox News host. Okay. He's setting it up in a way that makes you dislike the whole shebang already. made good on his promise Tuesday evening and posted a 10-minute monologue on the social media platform. The commentary, which appeared next to a Tucker on Twitter logo at the corner of the screen, was in the same style as viewers have come to expect from Carlson, a conspiracy peddling talk show host who gave voice to some of the most extreme ideas in right-wing politics. The New York Times' Katie Robertson and Jeremy Peters summarized the first episode like this, quote, "He expressed sympathy for President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia and mocked President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine." Calling him a comedian, he is a comedian. That's his career. He accused the mainstream media of lying. He wrapped up by declaring that UFOs and extraterrestrial life are actually real. There was some testimony. There's some pretty famous testimony just recently about that. But anyway, as of today, we've come to Twitter. Carlson said in the video, "We're told there are no gatekeepers here. If that turns out to be false, we'll leave." And he should. The move by Carlson could inflame the behind-the-scenes negotiations at Fox News, given that Carlson remains under contract with the channel. Carlson has hired the powerhouse attorney Brian Friedman to help him in such efforts, according to multiple reports. Regardless whether the Twitter show has the same influence and reach as Carlson's one-time Fox News slot is far from certain. The primetime perch at Rupert Murdoch's right-wing network is uniquely powerful and unrivaled in the conservative media ecosystem. Is it right now, though? Is it right now? They've lost so many viewers at Fox News, and I think they're making some decent moves at Fox as far as the things they're moving around. But still, I don't know that Carlson was a pretty big name, but so was Bill O'Reilly, right? They were number one with Bill O'Reilly, then they were number one with Tucker Carlson. They'll figure it out, but right now they're not having such a great time over at Fox either, and people are sick of them. They become establishment. Shills for, I won't say the deep state, but you know what I mean. Anyway, he says Carlson faces an uphill climb if he hopes to reclaim the power he once enjoyed through Twitter videos. The first episode of Tucker on Twitter didn't help. Didn't help. I'm telling you, we're going to get there. I promise. Oh yeah, I got the chosen one. Hi there. And yes, that's exactly where I'm going. Tale of the Wrens. We'll get to it because it's hilarious. All right. The first episode of Tucker didn't help. The debut looked like a meager shell of Carlson's former show. Look, Carlson's former show was a well-produced media thing, right? But what was the star part of Tucker's show? It wasn't the graphics. It wasn't the, swirly things moving around and the chyron at the bottom. It was Tucker's commentary. And this was just pure Tucker commentary. And it made you think. I don't agree with everything he said, but it absolutely made me think about stuff that I, hadn't thought of before. That's what is the draw of Tucker. What he says, not what's around him. Now, again, he needs to work on his sound. So anyway, the production quality was bare bones, with the audio gently echoing in the background as Carlson used his spare hand to scroll through the teleprompter himself. Yeah, he didn't hire anyone. He's doing it himself. Fine, whatever. Supporters of Carlson, in addition to those who would like to believe Musk can use Twitter to destroy the mainstream press. Oliver's a little salty here because the internet's really screwing over CNN. Asserted that Carlson's debut was a success with more than 20 million views at the time of this publication. But what counts as a video view on Twitter is unclear. Musk himself said that. It simply counts if you saw the post on the X Twitter app or via web browser, not how long you watched. In contrast, Nielsen, the gold standard that tells you that CNN sucks of television ratings, provides data on the average number of concurrent viewers, not the cumulative number of views. The two sets of data are apples and oranges. Well, that's good to know. We'll get into that. Nevertheless, Musk celebrated Carl's embrace of his platform on Tuesday, retweeting the video to his 140 million followers. would be great to have shows from all parts of the political spectrum on this platform. I agree. I would love to see left wing, right wing, center, extreme left, extreme right, all put shows on Twitter. It would be interesting. It makes it, that's exactly what you want on Twitter. You want it to be a huge range of ideas without people telling you what you can and cannot say. Now, there were a lot of detractors, okay? We saw a couple already, right? God, I feel like it sounds like Cenk here. Right. And it's not hard to find the actual thing. In fact, lots of people. Oh! Oh, Rolling Stone. Here's Rolling Stone. This is great. I like the tweet. After weeks of hype, Tucker on Twitter is just a Fox News monologue without the production value. Right. That's what's great about it. That is what's great about it. It's like my show. There's no production value here. I click a button and the scenes change, but I have no production value. Then you guys don't watch me for production value, I hope. Because well, maybe that's why I'm not doing so well. I have shitty production value. But look, it's people are there to listen to Tucker. They don't give a fuck about the production value. And maybe that's what you idiots at CNN think is important. And maybe that's why you suck. Because it's not your production value, it's your commentary that sucks. So anyway, you can scroll through this Tucker on Twitter theme, but I want to go to the greatest, the greatest take of all times on the Tucker Carlson new show. And that, of course, is from one of my favorite, very, very favorite commentators on all things news, internet, social, whatever. And that would be none other than Miss Taylor Lorenz. And do you remember her? Remember Taylor Lorenz? The reporter that she got canned from, I want to say, the Atlantic, and then she was at New York Times, and they got rid of her, and they fired her, and then she ended up at the Washington Post. And for some reason, somebody at the Washington Post, she must have some she must have some video of them cheating on their wife or something, because they will not fire her. And I don't know why, because she's terrible. But so I made a little story. Now, I don't do stories on Instagram and whatever those other social media sites very well. So this is just it. Tucker launched his first monologue on Elon Musk's Twitter. And Taylor Lorenz has some doubts that this just may not be the success they were hoping for. And so here's a tale of her little concern trolling on Twitter. Okay, it'll be full screen so you can see the whole thing. So she wrote this thing right here at one point. This was 2 hours in, right? 2 hours into this being produced. And apparently she must have watched it, because she has the critique on it. Taylor Lorenz says, "It's wild to see what a fish out of water he is on the internet. No jump cuts, no background music, no catchy thumbnail or video title. Not sure how he's going to stack up against even an average streamer or YouTuber." And I'm like, wait a minute. Do you think jump cuts are why people watch YouTube? Are you serious? Are you serious? Jump cuts? Jump cuts look stupid. And the fact that if you can do an entire video without a jump cut, you are a master at what you're doing here. If you can because jump cuts are basically to cut out the flaws in what you do. He did an entire 10 to 12 minutes with no jump cuts. Didn't need them. He's professional. Okay. And then as far as the background music or catchy thumbnail, well, he's a one-man show right now. Clearly no one's helping him on this, because he's scrolling his own teleprompter. Maybe he's got limited production value. I think he needs a microphone, though, like I use. Not the exact thing, but I mean, the sound was echoey, but nobody cared. It's the commentary you want from Tucker Carlson. Not sure he's going to stack up against even an average YouTuber or streamer or whatever. Well, this was when there was still 2 million views or something like that. And then at 17 million views, some people started chirping at her, right? They started chirping at Taylor Lorenz. So here's the next part of the story. So she said something about because people were telling her, oh, he's got 16 million views now. And she says, well, it's interesting to see people frame 16 million views as a success. 16 million views on Twitter is nothing. TV views threshold is much higher. Really? For cable news? Not really. We've seen how wildly Twitter view counts are inflated. Oh, even to take at face value, 16 million views is not much when you're talking about social content. Huh. Now it makes me curious how much views Taylor Lorenz gets, a Washington Post technology reporter, or even, any of those people that seen it. Now, this guy, though, Jason Kint, be very careful when you say his name, says, right, even if all 16 million viewers were watched to completion, it would mean an average minute audience comparable to TV of 2.6 million viewers. Since it's likely a majority only watch for a few seconds, I would estimate AMA was in the tops hundreds of thousands. Oh, really? Okay, let's just take that 2.6 million viewers that he says, comparable to TV, right? How many CNN primetime shows average 2.6 million viewers? I'm not even going to sing the whole song. None. How many MSNBC shows average 2.6 million viewers? Maybe in a good month, Rachel Maddow. That's all. And in fact, I was kind of laughing because I was thinking, God, I can't imagine like someone like Mehdi Hassan. You know who that is? Like, I'd be happy to have 100,000. So I'm like, well, yeah, 2.6 million viewers. That's pretty good. That's even good for Fox. I mean, his Fox show was 4 to 6 million, right? And that's what this was back at 16 million views, right? Then I clicked later. Here's the show a while ago. This was at, I don't even know what time this was. 54.2 million views. I'm like, oh, wow. So you can take that 2.5 million and maybe triple it, a little more than triple it. So then you have, of course, so that's my little story and 4 little quips there. And now it's at 70 some million, which, okay, so let's take that. He said at 16 million views, probably averages 2.5 million views. But everyone's talking about it now. And so now it's up to 70 million, which let's say 10 million people watched it to completion. That's 2.5 times his average audience at Fox. That's a lot of people. Okay. Now, some other people were talking about this because I thought, wait, 2.6 million views and they said that's minute for television. Well, it's minute for television in general, like, entertainment shows, but for cable news, that's not minute at all. That's a lot. That's a big number for cable news, right? Right? Why do I keep saying that? It's a lot for cable news. So I said, I even said that on this little tweet here. 2.6 million views is minute for a television audience? What are the averages over at CNN? What kind of viewership does Mehdi Hassan get when he's in MSNBC? Has he ever even broken 500,000? Does that new 54 million now, and then does the new 54 million number, does that equate to 6 or 7 million TV views? Granted, they're not they're not Mr. Beast numbers, because Mr. Beast, get 200, 300 million views on a video. No, he averages probably 1.8 million, 108 million views a video. But that's because he's entertainment, right? Versus cable news. Or the Young Turks even. Did the Young Turks even come close to this on any video ever? 7 million or more? So I thought, oh, and then speaking of Mehdi Hasan had something to say about this too. He said, I kid you not, but Tucker Carlson's first episode of his new Twitter show, basically him doing a monologue and scrolling down his own teleprompter, said we should be asking more questions about what happened on 9/11 and insisted we have proof that UFOs are real, right? Oh, well, yeah. There was testimony about it. Now, it doesn't mean that they are real. He was talking about how the current news, the news market right now really doesn't let you ask a lot of questions about a lot of other things. And so I thought, oh, speaking of Mehdi Hasan, he has thoughts too. Clearly, he contributed at least a couple of those views, but of course, he has a job to do. So he wrote a caricature of the show in his own gaslighting style, which he absolutely did. Also, Matt Gertz from Media Matters chimed in. Oh, and looked who liked it, Brian Stelter. Matthew Gertz is the CEO of Media Matters. That Tucker Carlson video is bleak. It's jarring how his shtick just does not work without Fox bells and whistles. He was maybe the most powerful man in right-wing media. Now he's just another streamer with half-baked opinions, peddling conspiracy theories. He's Alex Jones in a jacket and tie. Yeah, that's what you would say if you work for Media Matters. I thought it was hilarious that Brian Stelter liked this, because now with 70 million views, that's probably 10, 11 million, 12 million that actually watched the whole thing. Has Brian Stelter shows, what's that show used to do? Reliable Sources. Has that show ever had more than 150,000 viewers? Ever? Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Harvard guest lecturer and media critic Brian Stelter, who was happy to get 150,000 views on Reliable Sources. Harvard guest lecturer and media critic Brian Stelter. Interesting. Okay, should we move on to something else? CNN's been on a roll. Oh wait, let me go back to here. I want to see something real quick. I got some. What are these notifications here? Who do I thank? Who do I thank next? Thank you, Swamp Fox Ghost, Sound Nation. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. CNN has another one, and I'm going to finish up with this because this is CNN's on a propaganda roll right now. They're major. I mean, everything at CNN is propaganda. So they tweeted this article out this morning. If gas guzzlers disappeared from U.S. car lots by 2035 and were replaced by zero-emission vehicles, the nation would see 89,300 fewer premature deaths by 2050, according to a new report. Now, first of all, when I read this, I'm like, ooh, that's oddly specific. 89,300 fewer deaths if U.S. car lots replaced all internal combustion engines to zero-emission vehicles by 2035. If they did it by 2035, by 2050, there would be 89,300 fewer premature deaths. Now, this is a study, okay? It's a study. And I was thinking, okay, over 15 years, 89,000. What is 89,300 divided by 15? Hang on, let me get my calculator out here. Calculator. 89,300 divided by 15. So there'd be roughly just under 6,000. Well, no, they were very precise. There'd be 5,053.3 fewer premature deaths per year over the 15 years if all those cars were changed to zero-emission vehicles. Now, I was like, really? Now, and here's the other thing. So they're on this big propaganda push on the climate change stuff. And, they did something about another ice shelf melting. There'd be the other one too. So the other one that they put out, and I don't have it handy, was that new study moves the date in which the Arctic will no longer see ice to like 2040 or 2050. It was used to be a lot later, right? Now, when I read that one, I laughed because I distinctly remember, I want to say 1998 or somewhere between there and 2006, sometime during the Al Gore invented the internet era, that we were told that there would be no more sea ice in the Arctic by 2016. Remember that goalpost? And now they're saying that this study has a stark result that there will be no sea ice in the Arctic after 2040. I'm like, wow, they've been moving the hell out of them goalposts. But anyway, let's go into this article, which I'm sure is just a silly bunch of nonsense. This study, move to electric vehicles could save nearly 90,000 lives in the U.S. by 2050. By 2050, it could save, boy, I bet they might cure cancer by that. So that would do even more, right? If gas guzzlers disappeared from U.S. car lots by 2035 and replaced by zero-emission, essentially electric cars, trucks, and SUVs, the nation would see 89,300, very specific, fewer premature deaths by 2050, according to a new report by the American Lung Association. But the country would also have to move more toward clean, non-combustible electricity, like wind, solar, hydro, geothermal, and nuclear, to see the full hearth of benefit. Yeah, because right now, your electric vehicles are coal-powered, for the most part. And there will never be enough wind, solar, unless they come up with some crazy new technologies that can actually harness way more than they do right now. Those aren't going to do it. Hydropower, in the places they do it, sure, it's great for Las Vegas, except when the water levels get low. But it's still working for Las Vegas, right? What's the other one? Geothermal. Yeah, they probably learned some technology from that make that more efficient, but it ain't happening yet. I find. And nuclear, which they seem to just not want to do. The report published Wednesday says that people in the U.S. would have 2.2 million fewer asthma attacks, 10.7 million fewer lost work days. Wait a minute. I thought premature deaths, a lot of premature deaths are due to people overworking themselves. So if they're having fewer lost work days, they'll probably have a lot more deaths there, right? Just thought. And the country would net $978 billion in public health benefits with the move to cleaner vehicles and a cleaner power supply. Again, very specific numbers. 978 billion, not 979, not 960, not 977, but 978 billion. There are very clear benefits of zero-emission technologies, said a report. Author William Barrett, National Senior Director for Clean Air Advocacy for the American Lung Association. The Driving to Clean Air, Health Benefits of Zero-Emission Cars and Electricity report uses an analysis of data from the association's March 2022 report, zeroing in on healthy air. Now, here's the problem with this. You got to remember, the carbon, that is put in our air is also one of the reasons why the world is getting greener. There's been an expansion of green forests in the world, despite the fact that they're tearing away a lot of the rainforest in Brazil. The rest of the world's getting greener, but they don't tell you that part very often. Transportation is the leading source of air pollution in the U.S. and the largest creator of carbon pollution. Carbon's not pollution. Carbon is used by plants. That's why we have, and that's why crop yields are probably higher. Hello, blue-eyed scream, by the way. The largest creator of carbon pollution that drives the climate crisis. Again, I don't know why they call it a crisis. Climate change, I mean. again, I got to make this shirt. Climate change ever since the Ice Age. It's climate change has always happened, and there's plenty of times in this Earth has been warmer. There's been more water on the planet. In fact, when in northern Minnesota, we were driving to a friend's lake home, right? And we stopped at this. There's a marker on the way to the lake home. Like a historical marker, and it's the site of where they found what they call, I think they call it Minnesota Woman. That's the name of the archaeological site, and it's the oldest archaeological find that they've had in our state of Minnesota. Where the bones they found of this woman are over 10,000 years old. And the area that they did this dig, well, at one point it was covered, the entire area was covered with water. In fact, our whole state was pretty much water. That's why we have so many glacial lakes in Minnesota. We're the land of 10,000 lakes, right? We have 12,000 lakes of a mile radius or more, or mile square footage or more in the state. So it was an area that was covered in water. But before that, it was covered in ice. This woman was pre-Ice Age. But somehow there was water all over that part of the place. And before that, it was ice, So clearly, northern Minnesota is not covered in water. There's a lot of bodies of water, but there's no coverage. It's not covered in ice. Where did that ice go? Oh, I think that's called climate change. So that's why I say climate change. Climate change. Ever since the Ice Age. It's a great theme. I should have done. I thought of this 6 years ago, and I still haven't done the shirt. I should probably do the shirt. Anyway, studies show that it's okay. Oh, I see. Here we go. So transportation is the leading source of air pollution in the U.S. The largest creator of carbon pollution that drives the climate crisis, which is not a crisis, it's a normal cycle. And humans will find a way to survive. Look, I don't mind the warming, by the way. Growing seasons are longer. You can produce more food. The carbon in the air allows plants to live better. It's not 100% terrible. Yes, people may eventually have to make choices on where they live 2,000-3,000 years down the road. But that's always going to happen. I don't know why people who live here now think they're going to be the savior of the planet. We were supposed to all be dead by 1998. If you listen to what they said in 1970, if you listen to what they said in 1980, yeah, by 2005 we'd all be dead. If you listen to what they said in 1990, by 2016 we'd all be dead. If you listen to 2010, by 2020 we'll all be dead. If you listen to AOC a couple years ago, by 2030 we'll all be dead. Never heard of doomsday propositions before. That's completely new. Now you have CNN to amplify that bullshit. And look, if we're all dead by 2030, will we really care? Because we'll all be dead. I'm just saying. So anyway, it continues. Studies show that it significantly raises the risk of premature death or chronic conditions like asthma or heart problems and even depression and Alzheimer's. So the carbon that's produced by your cars in your state are what making you depressed. About 120 million people in the U.S. live in areas with unhealthy air, according to the American Lung Association report published this year. Low-income communities and communities of color, see, they're just conflating low-income and community of colors because, even though a large majority of even black people don't live in poverty, but a lot do. So, regardless of income, are disproportionately affected by this health threat. These communities live in closer to major sources of air pollution like major highways and power plants, studies show. The transition to zero-emission technologies is critical as a whole, but especially critical in making sure that we are targeting policies and investments and incentive programs that all communities can take advantage of these health benefits and more healthier transportation choices, Barrett said. Now, here's another problem. So, as we move to do all these electric vehicles, so we know that there's problems. The batteries, the cobalt mining is a big issue. Although Elon Musk doesn't seem to think that's as big a problem as it is, because cobalt's everywhere. The problem is the other metals that are required, nickel or copper or other, conducting metals, is also an important part of those batteries. And we also know that the batteries last maybe 7 years for the vehicles at most, and they got to be replaced, and then you got to dispose of the batteries, which can be really nasty, and they haven't really they haven't thought about that part. They haven't perfected that solution to that yet. But the other problem is when now people are wanting bigger vehicles. So the trucks, the Ford Lightning and the Tesla truck and all that, which takes 2 batteries, and the batteries weighs about 4,000 pounds of batteries each. So you're saying, oh, well, what about the power grid? Are we going to be able to have the power grid? Because a lot of people are ordering these big electric semis too around the world. A lot of companies are starting to make those, except now to power those electric semis and bigger vehicles, then, they want to start making electric mining trucks and everything. You got to power those things. So now they're trying to figure out ways, okay, they're going to make a battery that you can change and power one. But the problem is there's not enough electricity to charge all these batteries. There's a company, they were trying to, put into a fleet of trucks, right? And they wanted to go, I think 8 or 9 electric trucks. But it was going to take and I'm not sure the actual measurement, but let's just say a megawatt can power 50,000 homes. I don't know the exact numbers. It was going to take an entire megawatt of energy just for that truck's lot to power those trucks. So now you're going to have all these coal-powered trucks that are taking up almost an entire, small town's worth of energy to drive the trucks. It's just incredibly crazy. Clean nuclear-powered cars. If they could come up with something, it's funny because there was supposedly someone who came up. Now I don't know if it's a myth or conspiracy theory, but there was supposedly somebody who came up with a vehicle that was able to create hydrogen from water and power a car with water for almost no cost. And apparently that guy's was kind of disappeared somehow, just and they still have the plans for it, but he kind of just disappeared. I wonder why, because the car companies and the gas companies probably wouldn't like that to happen now, would they? So anyway, that's probably just a myth though, and I'm just talking out of my ass. But anyway, so that's today's CNN article of the day. The CNN propaganda of the day. And on that note, I got to call this a day myself. But, oh, wow, the bot did not work again today. What is going on with Streamlabs? Why is let me check this. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I would suggest you, if you haven't watched already, the monologue by Tucker Carlson is interesting. You may agree with some points. You may not agree with some points, but it's never going to be boring. I got to tell you that. And I will continue to watch it. I didn't necessarily watch cable news. So it was off. What the fuck? I have no idea why this was off again. Let's see if I refresh it, if it turns itself off again. Stay on CloudBot. Okay, it's on. Anyway, so I suggest you watch Tucker Carlson. It's never going to not be interesting because he talks about things, at least his plan is to talk about things that the rest of the people in news don't talk about, and that's a good thing. So I hope you had a wonderful day. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you, before you go, click the like button. Share the stream either on Rumble or YouTube. Look, the Streamlabs links are always available 24 hours a day. YouTube, Cash App, and other ways to contribute to the show. If you want to drop a buck in the tip jar every once in a while, I would greatly appreciate it. But that's it for today. Gotta go. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thanks for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.